Hey guys, I'm Orthodon, and we are here for a poll video replacing Shin no Nakama. A lot more of that title, but I'm not going to say it, as I don't usually in the show either, but that show is coming to an end. That season of anime is coming to an end. There's only a couple episodes left, and we are moving into the winter season. So, as usual, if you don't know, I do an airing show from each season. Sometimes it's a sequel, so sometimes I don't do a poll, and I'll just pick the sequel. Other times there will be no sequels for a show that I have seen, so I will go through the list of shows, pick all the ones that look like they'd be something up my alley, which is almost all of them that aren't sequels already, because that would mean I haven't seen the first season, and then I will go and, pick the ones that aren't sequels, pick the ones that are more up my alley. Sometimes if it's just like a romance slice of life, sometimes I'll leave it out, because I do try to keep the poll to around 10-ish shows, sometimes more. I think it came out to be like 13 shows this time, which is fine. But yeah, so keep in mind, guys, the poll is going to be on my Patreon. The link will be in the description below. You guys can check that out. You do need an account to vote, but it is free to sign up. You do not need to be a patron for me at all. You do not need to pay any money at all. You don't even need to sign up as a patron to me. Like, you literally just click the link, log into your account, and vote, and that's it. Or create an account and vote if you don't have a Patreon account. So check all that out if you're interested in voting on the show. I will be going through the list of shows and the little bit I know about some of them, which is pretty much only me reading the synopsis briefly, trying to make sure that it's not a sequel, because some of them are like, haven't I heard of this show before? But anyway, let's get started with the first show, which is, it's also the fun time of hearing me get to say, or try to say, the Japanese names of these shows. So the first show, Tensai Oji no Akaji Koka Saisei Jutsu, which in English it translates apparently to The Genius Prince's Guide to Raising a Nation Out of Debt. So this is one of the ones that I have no idea about, except for what that English title says, which I actually didn't even read that. I copy-pasted it into my notepad when I was picking the shows. And yeah, so maybe a guy trying to get his nation out of debt based off the title. I don't know. Interesting concept for a show, though. In fact, I don't know. Interesting. I'm always into, like, the anime always has some of these, like, weird genres, or they take, like, an interesting genre and then they put, like, a weird twist on it, which is one of the later shows coming up that is probably, like, my most recommended, like, or not recommended, but my most interested, that I kind of really want to win. But obviously it's up to you guys to vote. But I usually don't have, like, a favorite. Usually I don't know anything about any of these, but reading this synopsis got me interested in one of these. Anyway, second show is Kenja no Deshi wo Nanaru Kenja. I didn't get an English translation for that one at all, so it just is what it is. I guess I have some of these up on my other monitor still, so I can take a look real fast. So this one was, it's a video game one. Yes, of course. I guess the synonyms is she professed herself pupil of the wise man Kendeshi. Okay. But yeah, this was one of the ones where I read briefly the synopsis, but I try not to read too much, because I don't want to be spoiled. Even in the synopsis, I don't want to be spoiled too much. Usually it's only like the first episode that they mention anyway, but it mentions a character name who plays a VR MMORPG, and he's a veteran player and stuff like that. So it seems like it's going to be one with a character that plays video games. Now, there's more down the synopsis that I have avoided reading, so I don't know if it's one of those, like, if it's an isekai, like, does he get sucked into this VR MMO, or is it just about the character that plays the VR MMO? Not sure. But either way, interesting. The third show is going to be Shikakumon no Saikyu Kenja. So that one is, let's see, I still have it open, so action, adventure, fantasy. In a world of magic. No, I'm sorry, I won't read the synopsis. Alright, yeah, so this just seemed like a kind of fantasy, like, I don't really know, honestly. It talked about marks and stuff like that. I don't know if it has anything to do with superpowers or anything, but yeah. Fourth show is Kuroshi Ai, which translates to Love of Kill. I don't know if that's a proper translation, Love of Kill. Like, doesn't sound like a proper show name, but that is fine. Love of Kill, that's what my anime list at least said. That's what I used to find all of these shows and everything, so. But yeah, briefly look at that one real fast. Let's see if this is one I read. Oh, this one seemed interesting. It's an action and a romance. I'm not the biggest fan of romances, typically. Depending on how they're done and their focus and stuff like that, there's obviously some that I've absolutely enjoyed. But other times, like, I don't want to be too biased or general, I should say, with anime, but a lot of the times with anime, a lot of the romance ends up being like, guy likes girl, girl likes guy, they never act on it through, like, the entire show, and you just see them, like, awkwardly, like, moving their way around each other in a way where they, like, never admit to each other, like, face to face that they like each other, you know? So, like, that's, like, my only complaint with, like, a lot of anime, and then every now and then I've seen a couple anime recently that actually have acted on those relationships, and it's been it's been really cool. I've been enjoying some of those, but yeah, anyway. Fifth show is Baro no Soretsu, which English is Requiem of the Rose King, which I have all these in exact order, which makes it really easy for me. This was a action, drama, supernatural. So another kind of drama one. Not sure about it. I'm also a little worried because it looks like the thumbnail looks very, like, male pretty boy. So I'm worried it's one of those, like, boys love, like, geared more towards girl kind of shows. But I don't like to judge a book by its cover, so I put it on the poll. It seems like I don't know. That was one that I read, like, the first sentence of the synopsis, and I was like, alright, well, I'll add it, you know? But I'm always up for new shows and anything, too, so. Alright, so what am I on? Sixth show is Orient. That one actually sounded kind of cool. Like, it mentioned, like, samurai and demon slaying quests and stuff like that in the synopsis. It's an action fantasy. I don't know, the name Orient and then the brief little bit that I read from the description sounded kind of interesting. It could be a fun one. The next one is Liadele no Daichi Night. Probably said that wrong, but the English translation is World of Liadele. And that one, it looks like an underwater kind of thing. I don't know anything else about it. Actually, I just briefly looked at the description, and it says something about another VR MMORPG, so I guess I'm curious about. Sometimes I like these game ones, sometimes I feel like it's been overdone, you know, but I sometimes love underwater stuff, and I feel like anime with good art style could make underwater stuff be absolutely beautiful. And that's just the only basic idea of the underwater is the thumbnail of the show in the thing where it shows a character underwater with a bunch of fish around her. So that just intrigues me. You know, I like underwater stuff, even though a lot of underwater stuff terrifies me if it's, like, really dark and spooky, you know? It's actually, like, kind of like a phobia of mine to, like, just swim down into, like, the darkness of water. But a lot of the times in anime, it's not like that. It's all bright and shiny and stuff, so. Anyway, next show is Sabiki Bisco, which is actually the show that I am most intrigued on this season. I hope this one wins the poll, to be completely honest, because it, like, when I read the synopsis, it talks about, like, a post-apocalypse Japan where like all that's left is like rusted shit in its wake. Now this is the one also that I mentioned that takes like an interesting concept and then adds like a really weird twist to it, which anime does a lot of the times, where it talked about a character that shoots like arrows with mushrooms on the end of them, or spores, I think it was. Oh, I have the description up right here. Yeah, arrows instantly grow mushrooms where they land. So, like, when I read that, I was like, well, that's an interesting concept, but it talks about this character, like, roaming around a post-apocalyptic Japan, and I love post-apocalypse stuff, for the most part. So I think it would be really cool to... There's not too many... Like, there are a few, but not too many post-apocalypse, anime, and I'd love to see another one. Honestly, when I read that description, I was very close to saying, like, okay, I'm not going to do a poll this time, I just want to watch this one, you know, but we'll see. Maybe if I find the time, I'll watch this one at some point, too, just out of pure curiosity, you know, but yeah, that's, vote for that one. No, I'm just kidding. Next show is going to be Doll's Frontline, which is a... whereas some of these other ones were characters in the show play games, this one is based off of a real-life game. So, I've never played the game that this is based off of, so I don't know... I mean, it could have its own standalone story that is very good, so I don't want to judge it based off that, but I don't know anything about the game, so if you guys are, like, if you guys are expecting me to know the game, and if you vote for that, and, like, be excited about seeing, like, characters from the game or something in the show, that probably won't happen, because I probably won't ever play the game, but, so, just so you guys know. It just seemed like another one of those, like, action ones, right? Like, I have it up. What are the genres? Action, drama, sci-fi. Yeah, so, I mean, it could be a very good, show on its own, so feel free to vote for it if you want. Just keep that in mind. Next show is Fantasy Bishoujo Juniku Oji-san 2. So, yeah, whatever that one is. Oh, this one. Okay. I almost didn't add this one. This is probably the one that I want to win the least because it sounds a little, like, weird. It talked about, like, I think it's like a isekai or, what does it say? I guess they summoned to another world. So, not quite isekai, because usually isekai is, like, going into a game, I think, not just being summoned to another world. Either way, but apparently, like, one of the characters turns into a girl, and it used to be, like, an old man, which just sounds like a lot of, like, creepy, weird shit could go on in that, especially when it comes to anime, because they already have enough of that without having an old man becoming a girl, you know? Just, like, thinking about some of the old men I've seen that are just super perverted in anime, But yeah, I don't know. It could be really good. Vote for it if you want, obviously. I've said it 50 times already. I'll watch it. I'm going to watch whatever wins. That's why I put these shows on the poll, you know. So if you guys want to see me go through that, I will. But I'm just hesitant on anything that sounds like it could be filled with fan service, because as much as I'm enjoying Shin no Nakama, some of the fan service in it is very questionable for me and has ruined some episodes for me, you know, where I feel like they could have been way more impactful of episodes. So it's I'm just, like, really hesitant on going straight into another anime that could potentially be extremely fan servicey, you know. But anyway, next show is Kaijin Kaihatsu Bu no Koritsu-san. So that one, which one was that one? This one was with the character in the background that reminded me thoroughly of the, what was it? Was it Yoho Senkai? What's that, what it was called? It was the one that had, like, the guy that got reincarnated into another world as a little girl and became, like, a freaking military mastermind kind of thing. I remember watching that one, and the thumbnail of that, the girl in the background that has like a military hat on and blonde hair and looks like a young girl, just looks exactly like or reminds me exactly of that character. So yeah, just interesting. But yeah, I mean, it talks about like a monster development department, you know, evil organizations, and it's comedy and fantasy, which I actually didn't really get the comedy bits from the thumbnail. It looks more serious, but interesting. All right. Next show is Genso Sangokushi Tengen Raishinki. Me trying to read these names, man. This is just a fantasy with a historical theme, it says. It talks about like during the Three Kingdoms period in China, which I don't know much about Chinese history or anything, so I don't know how historically relevant it is. Might be a lot of references that I don't quite understand, but I'm sure it could be interesting if it looks like, you know, looks like there's probably some action and stuff, characters holding weapons in the thumbnail, it looks like, so who knows, could be good. And the final show is Hakozume Koben Joshi no Gyakushu, which is a comedy that I almost didn't add because, once again, this is just a comedy slice of life. I actually just noticed it's done by Madhouse, which is a very good studio. I almost didn't add it, but then I realized that sometimes these comedies are so much fun that I decided to add it. And like, that was one of the ones where I was like, well, I like to keep it to 10, and I was at 13, and I was like, should I cut some of these out? And I was like, well, whatever, we'll just do 13. What's the big deal? It just gives you guys more options. It doesn't really affect anything. It's not like I have to pay money for every show I put on the, you know, freaking poll, you know, but anyway, that was the final show. Seems interesting. I don't really know much about it other than it has to do with like police officers and stuff, based off like briefly reading the summary. So it could be interesting. But yeah, that's all the shows. Now, I forgot to mention it beforehand, so if you stuck around this long, if there's any shows from this season that you guys wanted me to watch instead, let me know in the comments. I did this last time, and I usually don't get a lot of votes with these polls, but I like doing them anyway. I had one vote on one of the shows, and then I actually had one vote as another show in the comments, but the show in the comments was a like sequel, so I would have had to watch the first season and then the second, and I figured since it was tied, I'd just go with the one that was airing. I was really busy at the time, so I apologize for not going through with the commented one, you know, last time, but feel free to leave me a comment if there is one. I thought about, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I thought about adding, because I noticed this season is either continuing airing or it's gonna be airing another season of Demon Slayer, which I'm currently watching Demon Slayer in another time slot. I was thinking about adding Demon Slayer to the poll to give you guys the option to vote for that, and basically what I'd do is I'd watch 2 episodes a week instead of the 1 episode a week I'm watching now, which would help me get caught up faster, you know? But I decided not to, mainly because I'm watching that show anyway, and I kind of want to watch another show, like another airing show, and not just this one. So like, eventually I'm gonna finish, you know, Demon Slayer anyway, all the new stuff. So I figured give one of these other shows a shot to be on the channel, you know. So anyway, that's all the shows, guys. I hope you guys are looking forward to at least one of these, and you shoot a vote on it, and hopefully you look forward to, you know, watching through it with me as well, you know. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. That is going to be it from me, and I will see you guys in whatever show gets picked or any of my other reactions. All right, see you guys.